Hello, welcome to another episode of Snail Mail with Smokey. I'm Smokey. It's a pretty special day around here, as today marks my 2-year anniversary with postcrossing.com. Now, I've been a philatelist and I've been collecting stamps for about 7 years now. And about 2 years ago, I was watching a video on YouTube, just like you're doing now, watching a video about stamp collecting. And I heard someone mention this thing called postcrossing.com. I'd never heard about it before, but they were talking about how they were connecting with people around the world by sending and receiving postcards. And their excitement for it was very contagious, and I thought, I've got to check it out. So I went on the website, I went to postcrossing.com, and I filled out a profile. I had 0 postcards to send. I live in a very, very small town. There's only 1,600 people in the rural town that I live in. So we don't really have a lot of touristy postcards. There's not much going on here except for our cows. So I quickly went to the next biggest town, which is about 40 minutes away. And we bought some postcards. And as a stamp collector, I've always got some stamps lying around. So 2 years ago today, I created my account and I sent my first postcard with Postcrossing. And what an incredible experience that it has been, and it still is. It is that experience that led me to different philatelic content on YouTube. And it's that experience that's partly responsible for why I have a YouTube channel today. So in 2 years, I have sent 295 postcards. That means 295 postcards that I've sent through postcrossing.com have reached their destination, and the recipients have went on and marked them received, and 285 postcards from the filming of this episode I've received through postcrossing.com. So that means I've got some postcards on their way to me right now, and I'm very excited about that. So I thought I would do a bit of an anniversary episode, and I thought, how do we mark this occasion of 2 years on Postcrossing? So I thought, I'll do a top 10 list. I'll do my top 10 favorite postcards that I received in 2 years. And as I was going through my postcards, I quickly discovered something. That is, I have a lot of favorite postcards. So I had to do a bit of narrowing down. So I said, okay, this is a Postcrossing episode. I'll just focus on the official postcrossing.com postcards, not direct swaps and friend mail and things of that nature, which I've gotten a ton of the last couple years. But just the official postcrossing.com, I'll focus on those. But still, there were tons of favorites. And so I thought, I'll focus on the image on the postcard, not the stamp. Because if we're talking about my favorite stamps that I've received over the last 2 years from postcrossing.com, that's an entirely different list than the one I'm going to share with you today. And a list that I'm eager to share with you in a future episode. And then I had one more problem. I couldn't narrow it down. These behind me are my postcards. I keep them in these binders, and these go all the way across my office. I've got postcards, and then first day covers, and then stamps. And so I went through this first binder, and I said, we'll just do part 1 of my top 10 favorite postcards. So I picked 10 postcards out of the first binder, and some other time we'll do another binder. And these are in no particular order, and I'll share with you briefly why they're my favorite. So my top 10 postcards from binder 1 from my first 2 years of Postcrossing. This is number 1. This postcard was sent to me on October 8th, 2020, and it was sent to me by a man named Peter who lives in Germany. The reason that I picked this postcard as one of my top 10 is because this is the very first postcard that I received through Postcrossing. I remember the day. It was a cool day here in October, and I went out to my mailbox, and this lone postcard was in the mailbox, and I'll show you the stamps. And I was so excited that hey, this Postcrossing thing works. I had sent a couple and they had reached their destination, but I hadn't got one back yet, and so I was very, very happy that day. And so this is first. Second in my countdown of top 10 is this postcard here of these giraffes. If you've watched any length of time, you know that one of my topical stamp collections is long-necked animals. That includes giraffes, llamas, tortoises, things of that nature. Giraffes make me smile. I love them so much. Last week when my wife and I were on vacation, we were fortunate enough to visit an animal park where we were, and we got to feed the giraffes. There were 2 giraffes there, and I don't know, I spent maybe half an hour there just feeding the giraffes and hanging out with them and being in their environment, and they just make me happy. And I have gotten many giraffe postcards, but this one's special. I love the image. I love these giraffes are kind of eating, and this guy's like, hey, what's going on? Kind of photo bombing it. This also comes from Germany, and there's the stamp there. So that's number 2. Postcard number 3. This postcard comes from Great Britain. It's an iconic British image. My family lineage, my ancestors are from Great Britain on both sides, and then they immigrated to America, I don't know, 100, 150 years ago. And so I love all things related to Great Britain, and this postcard was such a treat to me when it came in the mail. And so that is why that makes the list. And then there is the Christmas stamp. Next on the list is this postcard. What a great postcard. This also comes from Germany. These, of course, are sheep. I also collect stamps with sheep on them. When I was younger, we raised sheep. We raised Dorset sheep, which look an awful lot like these sheep. They're all white. And then we raised a Suffolk sheep, which has the black head and the black feet. I showed sheep in 4-H and FFA. So I have a special place in my heart for sheep. And so when I received this postcard, it made me smile, and kind of makes you wonder what those sheep are thinking, doesn't it? And there are the German stamps. You're going to notice there's a lot of animals in my top 10, but that's because I am an animal lover. Speaking of animals, is this postcard of this mini lot bunny wearing a green bow tie, and he sends a message, and I am so thankful to the person who sent this. This comes from the Netherlands, and they sent me the translation. It says, "I'm sending you a hug." And so this card was sent to me. Here are the stamps, the Rotterdam postmark, very nice postmark from the Netherlands. Just like sheep, I grew up also raising rabbits. I raised mini lops, just like this. My favorite mini lop was a black lop, much like this one, but he was all black. He didn't have the well on his nose. His name was Charlie. This rabbit makes the list, and I'm very very thankful for this, and it reminds me of my dear rabbit Charlie, who's been gone for a number of years now, but I'll always have fond memories of him. Sticking with the British theme is this postcard, number 6 if I'm counting right in the countdown, and it is of a Broadway Tower and Gloucestershire. I'm probably not saying that right, so please forgive me. And there is the Machen stamp there. I love this image. I've never been here. Obviously, I would like to, but just that tower standing out in the field and the British flag, so majestic. Very nice postcard. Number 7. This card comes from Germany. And these guys make me smile. If you notice on my intro video, I've got this postcard on it because these guys, they just make me smile. And then here are the stamps. Number 8 is a postcard of a church. I have many postcards of churches in my collection. I also collect stamps with churches on them. This particular postcard comes to me from Finland. And it's not an ornate church, which is why I love it. It's just, it just looks like a neighborhood church, and I love the architecture. It's very classic. And I thought it represented everything I like in a postcard that has an image of a church on it. And then these are the stamps from Finland. Notice how this one is almost foil. I really like that stamp. Next on my list, number 9, is this card. You'll say, hey, that's not a postcard, and you're right. This is a handmade card. It comes from a person named Petra in the Netherlands. And there are so many things I like about this card and why I included it. The first is because someone took the time to make me a card. And so I know that takes a lot of time, and so I'm very thankful for that. The second thing is the frog. You know, I just got back from my vacation with my wife. We just celebrated 20 years of marriage. One of the things that we do, when we met, my wife collected blue and white things, kind of like Delft pottery and that sort of thing. I collected frogs, so we combined those collections, and we started collecting blue frogs, glass frogs and pottery frogs. And so every year on our anniversary, we find a blue frog and we buy it. We have a cabinet in our home where we display these. And so to get a frog, it reminds me of my wife, my years of marriage, and so I was just very thankful to receive this card. And now for number 10 is this card from Finland. And here are the stamps. Let me spend a second and tell you why I like this card. One, I just love the design of the card. And two, I am a history buff. I love all things history. And so this card tells me so much about Finland and about the people. It has the flag on there, traditional dress. It has a map of the country, some animals. Just a very nice postcard. And I really, really enjoyed it. And so that made the top 10. So that is it for my top 10 favorite postcards, part 1. We'll do part 2 very soon, and then we'll do my top stamps that have come on postcards. So thank you so much for watching the video. If you haven't done so yet, please consider subscribing to my channel. Also, hit the bell icon so you can be notified when future episodes are available. And don't forget to give me a comment. Which postcard did you like the most? How long have you been with Postcrossing? How many postcards have you sent? I know so many people out there that I receive postcards from and send postcards. They've been on Postcrossing for 10 years. They've sent thousands of postcards. I'm not there yet, but I'm on my way. Thank you to everyone for watching this video. Thank you to all my subscribers. We're close to 100 now. I'm super, super grateful for your support. If you'd like to connect with me, you can send me a message on Instagram. There's a link at the top of my YouTube page. And that's it for another episode of Snail Mail with Smokey. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.